When I was running live stop smoking clinics, on the fourth day of those programs, I would have my panel night. And my panel night consisted of people who had graduated the clinics, some who'd been off just for maybe a few weeks at that point, they may have been in the last group, and others who'd been off for years and at times decades, coming in and sharing their experience of what it was like for them to quit and how it was going for them at this point in time. And who they were talking to were people who were just getting over their 72-hour period. The panel served two purposes. It was there, obviously, to help the people who were in that clinic. They were just coming out of the withdrawal. It was almost over, or some of the people, it had been over for a day or two. They peaked on the first or second day. Some people peaked on the third day, and those people, they didn't know it was on its way to be better. And they were sometimes kind of in a panic state, like, oh my gosh, it was still really bad today. But the panelists would help bring them down. They would say, oh yeah, they remember when they were at this point, if they had their hard time on the third day, and what it was like now. And now was so far removed from where the people in the clinic were at, because again, it was weeks after they'd quit smoking or years or decades after they'd quit smoking. This was powerful reinforcement, but it served two purposes for people to come in on the panel. Obviously, it helped the people in the clinic who were in the, just coming over withdrawal. But the other people who benefited real heavily from this participation were the panelists themselves. They started to see how far they had come. In many ways, some of these people came in almost complacent because they feel like they're almost experts now. I mean, look, they're serving on a panel here. They feel good. They like not smoking. They really feel like they don't have this problem anymore. But one of the big benefits was that in almost every clinic I ever did, there were people who'd had multiple year quits who were now in the clinic to quit smoking again because they had relapsed after these multiple year quits. In a significant percentage of clinics, there were people who were participants who had quits that had lasted over a decade. And then they relapsed, and now they were trying to desperately get off smoking again. And the panelists would see this, and while sure, they may have had weeks or years under their belt thinking there's no way they can go back, oh my gosh, they were seeing people who had much longer time periods than them who had gone back. So the panel served two purposes. It helped the people who were in the clinic, but it helped the panelists. It helped them from ever becoming so complacent to get to this point where they feel so good, hate smoking so much, just so happy that they don't smoke anymore, to think like there's no way they could go back, and then becoming so complacent to think that, well, if they take a puff every now and then, they won't go back because of how miserable smoking is. They'd realize that's a false presumption that cost these clinic participants their quits. You want to learn from other people's mistakes. You do not want to learn from your own mistake, because you make that mistake, hey, you don't know you'll have the strength to quit again, you don't know you'll have a desire to quit again, and you don't know you'll get the opportunity to quit again before something goes really wrong. So if the way you quit smoking was you were a member of a internet support site, and that site helped you, you may find that you want to go back every now and then and repay the favor. You will find that you will help people who are in the midst of quitting smoking, but there's a really good chance you're going to help support your own quit too. You're going to help to reinforce the information on both sides, to those listening to you and from what you are seeing from those who are there quitting now. You're going to realize that you made a good decision the day you stopped, and you've come a very far way, and if you want to keep far away from where they're at again, it's a matter of sticking to the personal commitment you made the day you stopped to never take another puff.